This is a clip from our podcast From the Ground Up. We're on YouTube and Spotify, Apple Podcasts and all other podcasting platforms. I hope you enjoy it. If you like it, then make sure you check out the full episode. The link will be in the description. I remember a couple of years ago, you started getting your fair share of negative press.
More than a couple of years ago, bruv.
Was it more than a couple of years ago?
Yeah, now we're in 2023.
Oh man, yeah, it's gone fast.
It's like
I remember
4
it was
years
like
ago.
2019. Yeah, that's when it really picked up.
2019
seems to have. I don't know if it's just that I've not noticed it, but it seems to have died down.
Well, it's all gone. It's all been. I sued everybody.
What? Explain. What was going on?
Whenever you blow up big, if you look at anybody in history that's great, Jesus was crucified, bruv. They crucified Jesus. Muhammad Ali. If you look at actually his story. As he grew, he got a lot of hate. Martin Luther King, everybody that's ever done anything great, where you've blown up, you're gonna get criticised. And yeah, 2019 was just after I'd blown up massive, and there was a lot of, a lot of people talking about me, and there was a lot of good stuff, and there was some bad stuff. And the bad stuff, obviously people remember more. Bad news travels faster. It's more interesting. If you say, if you watch the news, it's nothing good. It's all negative because people like that. It's entertaining. So people remembered the negative and was sort of talking about it. And the negative was all kinds of stuff, Oh, Samuel E. There's obviously the usual anti-landlord, anti-rich bashing going on.
Yeah.
Of this person's taking up too many houses and blah, blah, blah. But then there's also this person's promising that he's going to get people rich and he's got these courses and are they legit, and people investigating into me. There was a lot of speculation as to my backstory, but I verified everything and put the receipts out. Beginning of 2020, sued everybody and won and got compensated.
Who's everybody? Because there was stuff from
everybody,
the BBC. Wasn't there a comedian who came along and started?
Well, even the big boys, they still had to retract comments. And
did they?
We still legally went after everybody that spoke out of turn and said things. And there's a difference between being criticised, which is okay. I don't mind being criticised, and people saying things that aren't true, that are damaging. And if people say things that aren't true or damaging, then you have a right to be compensated. And there was also people that not only said things that were untrue and damaging, but also people that said things that were malicious. So we had one guy that was posting hateful comments and was sending messages to my family, and we pressed charges, and he's now got a criminal record, and he got done in court for malicious communications. He's now serving community service. He's probably finished now because it was a long time ago. So yeah, and I learned through that, and I learned that actually, because at the time when it first started, I just thought, oh, well, it's normal. I'm just going to let my results speak. But then I thought, actually, no. When you don't put the facts on the table, then people just make stuff up. And I was becoming a punching bag for anyone that was a competitor that felt like, oh, yeah. So I stood up about maybe 3-4 years ago and got compensated fairly for it. Some of the cases are still ongoing because the courts are extremely slow.
Yeah.
There's one case that's still going on after 3 years. It's still ongoing, but we will win. We always win. I've never lost in court. I've only ever won in court, and I have had to sue people, and I have had to press charges against people because I'm not prepared to have my staff and my family and my business and my reputation brought into disrepute, and come out the other side stronger, richer, better looking, happier, with a more robust business.
Amazing. So, I mean, I know you said it's because you grew quickly, and I do think there is an element of truth to that. But why do you think people...
I don't sign up to that wires class.
Came after you?
I don't sign up for that wires class. If someone, I'm not trying to get in the head of somebody that is toxic. I'm not signing up for that class. I'll deal with it if I need to deal with it, which I did 4 years ago.
I think some people would describe you as controversial.
Yeah.
Would you see yourself as controversial?
Yes, a little bit.
Antagonistic?
No, I guess if you're saying that you don't need money to get started in property,
Yeah.
It's quite a controversial concept. And it's very anti what we learn in schools.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I mean, money is a bit taboo. In Britain, just to talk about money is a little bit taboo. So maybe a little bit controversial.
I think it is part of a... You've got a kind of personality.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I think... I liken it a little bit to Piers Morgan. Right.
I've never had that before.
Right, genuinely, I actually liken it to Piers Morgan in the sense that, and I like Piers Morgan. I
like him.
I agree with a lot of what he says. I think, however, he does say things in a way that's very blunt.
Yes, it's true.
Intentionally antagonistic. However,
I'll take that.
In my head, I see him and I think he's too smart to just be antagonistic for the sake of it. For him, I look at him and I go, he's just great at marketing.
Yeah.
Is there an element that maybe you are quite strong in your beliefs and you just get passionate? Or is there a little bit of actually there's a bit of marketing behind
it's a really good question and it's a very fair observation. I think that I am a no BS, straight to the point talker. I'm a straight talker. I always have been. And I've never been worried about offending people. If people speak up and they're speaking, I'll give you an example. This was a very long time ago, but it shocked people. I was in a little group. This is years and years and years ago. I was in a little group of some loose acquaintances and friends, and we were all chatting. Everyone's getting on just fine. And then one of the ladies left. Oh, see you later, left. And then
one of your events?
No. This was like, I was like a teenager.
Oh, right.
This was like years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just with some friends, acquaintances from school, and we're chatting. And then one of the ladies walks away, and then people started bad-mouthing her, and they're like, "Oh, did you see what she was wearing? Oh, did you?" And I was like, "Excuse me, come on. Do you want to just tell her what you were just saying?" Right, and afterwards, there were people that were. Some people said, "Oh, I respected you for that," and other people were like, "That was totally unnecessary," and it caused a massive stir. But I just can't be fake, and I can't stand by. And in the same way, when I see things that the government are doing and the news and this and that, I'm quite opinionated, and I'm not afraid of the repercussions of me speaking my truth. And I think, for sure that might be it might help videos go viral, but that's just who I am. I don't sit there and think, I haven't really got a strong opinion on this, but if I act opinionated, it's going to go viral. That is just me. That's just who I am. And I'll call a spade, and I'll say what I believe in. I'll say it passionately. I'm not always right. If I'm wrong, I'll put my hands up, and I'm not afraid to do stuff. I'm courageous. I'll do things like make predictions, and I'll say, this is what house prices are going to do this year. And I'm thinking I might not be right, but I'm pretty confident.
Yeah.
And most people wouldn't have the courage to say that. Most people's prediction videos might be very airy-fairy. I'll pick up the phone and say, give me an area. Manchester. All right, cool. Bang. And I'll call an agent and sell them on the phone. Like, I'm very courageous, and I think that definitely helps get views and get people's attention, but it's also just who I am.
I hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. If you are, then make sure that you click the subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss any uploads. It would mean so much to me personally, and also really help us out as a channel. I think we definitely live in a culture where people are, they struggle to maybe nail their colours to the mast, and you definitely do that. You're not really want to shy away from what you believe, are you?
The only time I won't is if it's just not my mountain. Like if people are asking me questions that I'm not an expert in, and I just think like certain political things, and I just think, you know what, I'm not going to die on the wrong mountain. I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. But if there's certain things that are not really in my repertoire of understanding, I'm not going to be having an opinion just for the sake of having an opinion. Sometimes I'll just say, you know what, I think I'll pass on that. Yeah.
You said when all this kind of happened with the press, and really you grew very quickly. I think a lot of people saw that, especially from the financial freedom challenges you're doing, that your channel grew very quickly from that. True. And then things started to turn quite sour in the press, and people saying stuff. What did you and because I know for you and your family that was tough, because I've seen videos where you've shared about how your family were getting hate mail and all that stuff, threats. What did you learn through that as a family?
Yeah, I mean, I learned that I'm accountable to 6 people. I'm accountable to my family. I'm accountable to my staff. I'm accountable to my customers. I'm accountable to my church. I'm accountable to God, and I'm accountable to myself. And I'm not accountable to anybody else. I'm not accountable to The Guardian. I'm not accountable to Joe Lycett, Mr. Comedian, trying to do a show and making jokes about me, saying I'm unattractive and don't look very handsome. I couldn't give a monkeys. I'm not accountable to those people, but I am accountable to my customers and to my staff and to my church and to my family and to God and to myself. So I think it's just about being careful who you listen to. But also as well, this is something that Grant Cardone told me, because Grant Cardone was really helpful during that space back in 2019. Spent a lot of time with him. And he said a lot of helpful stuff. I learned a lot from him. He said, don't worry about the haters. It don't matter. Because there'll always be haters. They hate on everything and everybody. They hate on themselves. Worry about the people that listen to them. Because sometimes people just think, oh, there's no smoke without fire. And that's why I needed to start readdressing everything. You know, I don't want to sit here for the whole interview and talk about some hate in 2019. But I think that was what I learned.
Yeah. You said you spent a bit of time with Grant Cardone. You spent some time with some pretty famous people recently. Andrew Tate being one.
Yeah.
What happened there? Where did the connection come from?
Andrew Tate, I saw he was following me on Instagram, and I messaged him and asked him if he could meet up with me, and I wanted to interview him, and he said yes. And then we met up, but we ended up not doing an interview. We just talked, and he showed me his car, and then he had to go, and I didn't do an interview. He was really late. And then I met up with him again and did an interview, and since then I've sort of stayed in touch with him a bit on WhatsApp and stuff, and he's been really influential to me on the fitness side of things. One of the things he said to me is, he said, if I woke up one day, Samuel, in your body, in 6 months, I'd be slim. And when he said that to me, I was just shy of 19 stone. That was about 6 months ago when he said that.
Okay.
And I've since lost 3 stone.
Jeez, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, he's right. He would.
Yeah.
Because it's not about, like, anything. Like, you think, oh, being rich.
Yeah.
I hope I can get rich. Everything's a process.
It comes down to actions, doesn't it?
It does. And it also comes down to habits.
Yeah.
If you're rich, if I lost my millions and lost everything and my reputation went down the tatters, I'd make everything back again. Because I know how. What I do results in me having money. Yeah. And what I realised from what Andrew Tate said is, what I do results in me having money. What I do results in me being happy. What I do and how I act with my wife and my family and my kids results in me having healthy relationships. But also what I'm doing is making me fat. So I realised, actually, my obesity is as a result of how I am acting every day, my habits. So I changed my habits. I've lost a few stone. I'm still a little bit overweight, but I'm in the best shape of my life, and I'm happier that I'm with myself. You know, I want to be a good role model to my kids.
Yeah.
And I've got more energy, and so I've mad respect for Andrew on that front. And also, Andrew Tate came on my channel and blew my channel up. I had just shy of 6 million views on the video I did with him alone, which is the most views I've ever had on any video ever.
I saw that. That was
so kudos to him, respect to him for graciously coming on my channel. Because I didn't. People say, how much did you have to pay him? I didn't pay him anything.
So what is your opinion of Andrew Tate and the controversy that surrounds him at the minute?
I mean, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because if I say, oh yeah, I think he's great, everyone's going to think, oh, so you agree with everything he says. What about this comment and this comment? But at the same time, for me to sit here and disrespect somebody that came on my YouTube channel and graciously gave up their time and blew my channel up and has helped me with my weight loss, for me to sit here and say negativity and jump on the I hate Andrew Tate train because it's popular, I'm not prepared to do that. I have respect for him. I did challenge him on the interview on a lot of his views, which I disagree with. And I thrashed it out with him, and it's there for all to see. So no, I don't agree with everything he says, but I have respect for him as a businessman, as a marketer, and I credit him for how he's helped me.
Yeah. He's a genius marketer, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, undeniably.